That was a terrible intro. Sorry, I regret everything. Let's just get into it. I have no intro. Today we're just talking about steroids. Let's talk about steroids. I recently was compelled to write about this because it's so prevalent right now. It's going around, I think, a lot more than people realize. Maybe, actually. That's the whole point of why I'm writing, because it is more prevalent than people realize. In thinking about this and studying, I thought a lot about Lance Armstrong, right? The bicyclist guy who won several Tour de France's and races and such, seemingly completely naturally, completely by his own sheer force and athleticism, only to find out that he was enhanced with substances, illegal substances. However, this was exposed 10 years ago. And since then, it seems, and I've seen quite a few different people I follow posting about the prevalence now and how society seems to be going towards the acceptance of these substances, whatever they may be, being used. And I can go on about morals and things that make me feel personally that we shouldn't be going this direction. But rather, I want to talk about the other end of the spectrum as to not necessarily the problem even with substances, but the problem with the lack of transparency, right? I've seen, and I've felt compelled by seeing a ton of videos and ton of things that I've seen, posts and articles about the lack of transparency. And you have 18-year-old guys that look nothing like what is biologically possible for an 18-year-old guy to look like, and claiming they're natural and then selling you their workout program, right? And taking all the shortcuts, saying they're completely natural, saying it's completely fine, do my workout like I do, and you can look just like me, right? And I think that's where the big problem on this end of the spectrum can lie. And again, Lance Armstrong was exposed 10 years ago, and he got away with it then for a long time. He was using something that went under the radar of all the tests they were doing. And he got away with it for the longest time. So think about now, 10 years past that, there's tons of stuff that you can easily get away with and easily go under the radar, except for the keen eye that sees it all. And what it really comes down to is when you see not just an 18-year-old guy, but any guy that just looks like Superman had a kid with the Hulk, it's fake. It's just not real. There is substances being used. And again, the big problem is that there are people, and hopefully those of you who are watching know you're one of them, that put in the time, put in the hours, put in the effort, and people are taking this shortcut and completely undermining it. And if you can't relate from a gym perspective, it's the same kind of a thing, right? When someone has been working their butt off at a job, right? Trying to get this promotion, let's say, and then an outside hire comes in that didn't earn it and just swoops under the rug and takes everything. It's the same kind of a principle. There are people that are putting in the work and looking great aesthetically and looking awesome athletically. And there's these people where they are just taking substances, putting the minimal work in, and looking better. And because that's possible, it's been proven. I'm not even going to put resources because you can just look it up for yourself. It's everywhere. Someone who actively uses steroids can do nothing other than use the anabolic steroids and still be in better shape than someone who moderately works out 3 or 4 times a week. That's insane that you can do nothing and still look as good as someone who's doing the actual work. And that's crazy. And of course you have guys like The Rock and really a ton of these celebrities who are taking it to the next level, and they are putting in the work as well as using these substances. And I won't say they're not putting in the work, because they are, but at the same time, what would they look like? And these are guys that it's been exposed that they're on stuff, because again, it's too good to be true, right? And that's not just my perspective. You can look it up. It's prevalent. People way smarter than me have broken it down as to how it's proven, right? That they are on outside stuff. A big part of that is, and maybe The Rock's not a good example because he's maintained it, which again, credit to that. But there's guys where they go from one movie role and they look completely normal. And then in 6 months' time, they took the superhero role and they had to get shredded, and they ate the chicken, they ate the broccoli, they worked out 4 hours a day every day and all this stuff. Even if that was true, it's been proven biologically impossible without the use of outside substances. Your body cannot grow in that short of time, especially with that intensity, in that little amount of volume. 6 months, 9 months, it's just not biologically possible. But again, just like these 18-year-olds on TikTok or whatever, pushing their agenda, it's the same thing with these celebrities. Oh, I ate broccoli, I ate chicken, I'm doing all this intense workout. And they're just trying to appear that they are better than everyone else. And that, oh, well, if you put in the time, if you put in the hours, you put in the work like I did, you would look like this. And that's just not the case. We see that. It is just not possible biologically. And that is where the problem lies, on that end of the spectrum. But I don't want to waste too much time talking about the obvious, as I already have. I'm like 7 minutes into this. But let's talk about the real problem, and what I believe is the real issue, the mental health. And yes, I'm going there. Like anything in life, if it's worth having, it won't come easy. And people who take this shortcut not only undermine the people that have actually put in the real work, but they undermine themselves, right? Anyone who has any experience truly bettering themselves in the gym knows that it's not just the body achieving results, right? It's the mental fortitude as well. I actually even can't explain this really. It's just something you have to experience to know. And those of you watching who have any experience lifting weights or doing anything like that, you know that there is something at work larger than just the muscles you gain, right? And I maybe can make an analogy to make it more clear. Those who work for what they have in all areas of life, they radiate this positivity and drive, right? People who get everything handed to them, on the other hand, tend to reap depression more than anyone else. Again, this is something that I could explain further maybe, but it's something that I think most people can relate to because you know people like this and you see it firsthand everywhere. When someone is working for something and they earn it, it's just a different vibe, man, than the person that takes all the shortcuts to get there. I will recommend Noel Dazel. I think I'm saying his name right. His code name is Daddy Noel. So most people know that name, I think. And I don't know if he does anymore. Honestly, I don't know. Or if he's just reaping the benefits of having done steroids. Was a big steroid user, might still be, not sure, but he's very open about it. And not only talking about the same stuff I'm talking about, but talking about the negative effects that come with it. I mean, the health, what's the opposite of benefits? The health risks, the health negatives that come with steroids it's just not worth it. And again, talking about Lance 10 years ago, these days, not only is it more easily hidden, it's more easily usable with low health risks and making it much more popular. I mean, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you take the shortcut, look jacked, sell workout programs easily? Why wouldn't you do that? And that just comes down, maybe I'll talk about it in another podcast or episode, but to the moral standpoint, right? But again, I'm trying to stay on the other side of the spectrum here. And that just really comes back to the mental thing, right? If you don't work for it, you don't deserve it. And even if you won't admit it to yourself, you know it and you feel it. And there's just, I love using the word vibe. I was going to say I hate using the word vibe, but I do love that word. And it's true, there's a different vibe around it all. So I think I'll end it there. Don't use steroids. Don't take the shortcut. Natty baby. That's the way. All right, let's end it there. I'm kind of trying to pretend like I've been doing this for a while, but this is my first episode, so that'll be the sneak behind the curtain. I don't know how to end this. Let's just say, let's end there. End there. Don't use steroids. Don't take the shortcut. Natty baby.